now tuned into The Truth with G. Inspire, educate, and uplift. If you can't handle the truth, this ain't the show for you. The truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So sit back, relax, and buckle up and enjoy this ride.
The Truth with G. The Truth with G. The Truth with G. All right. Welcome back to the show. You listen to The Truth with G on WPMM Internet Radio. I am your boy, Gerald Graham, also known as G. Once again, we're back to talk about the issues that matter to you and your community. It is Monday. It is the Monday, the start of the week, people. We just coming off the holiday. Hope all is doing well. Just coming off Christmas holiday. Some people are back on the grind. For most people, they get Christmas Day off. Usually, if it falls on Sunday, you get Monday off. So I'm sure a lot of you people were off on today. So I hope you enjoyed the 3-day weekend that you had. Some people had a 4-day weekend. And as always, some people took vacation on this day, this week, if you will. For those on vacation, hope that you enjoy yourself, have a good time, have a safe time while you're on vacation. So, but once again, it is Monday. We are back on the grind. We are live on WPMM Internet Radio. You can go to the website, WPMMradio.com, and listen to the show. You can go to our YouTube page and listen. We're on all streaming platforms, if you will, just about all streaming platforms, but WPMMradio.com is the website. You can go to that website and download the app as well. The app is available. It's a free app from the website. You can go to Google Play Store or the Apple Store and download the app as well. We're on Facebook. We're on my Facebook page at Gerald Graham. We're also on WPMM Facebook page as well, if you want to catch the show. If you are listening on Facebook, go ahead and share. If you would, go ahead and share. I would definitely appreciate it. The most shares we can get, the better off we will be. Looks like Miss Rivers is on tonight. Good to see you tonight, Miss Rivers. Hope all is well. Hope you had a good Christmas holiday. And we're going to talk about a couple things today. I don't want to pull you down from the high of the holiday, but a couple things that I really, really, really need to talk about today. So we're going to do that today. Couple of subjects. A message to our youth. Our youth are having some issues. There's things going on around here, especially in Pensacola, and got a message for our youth today. So if you have a teenager, a young adult, get them to listen to the show today, because we got a message for them, the young people today. Very, very important message. So make sure you check that out. Also, we're going to be talking about police brutality as well. You would have thought, and some people say you would have thunk it, but you would have thought that after George Floyd, that the police brutality would calm down and take a different turn, if you will, from all the notoriety not notoriety, but the negative notoriety that was brought to the police departments behind George Floyd. You would have thought that things would have changed. Police reform is still a thing that has not been passed to our legislative branch. And but believe it or not, I have some numbers for you today that's gonna probably shock you, if you will, in regards to police brutality. So we'll talk about that as well. Also, we still have just depending on time, we may get into a couple other things as well, but those are the main two I want to tackle today. So once again, if you're on Facebook, go ahead and share. Let me know you're out there. If you're on, drop your comments. Not taking phone calls today, but you can drop your comments into the comment section on Facebook. We will read your comment, or I will read your comment, and we will discuss it. And if you want to chime in on the show, just let me know. We'll try to get you on to where you can be heard, if you will. I would try desperately to get you on if you're on Facebook and you want to chime in on the show. So Let's go ahead and take care of the particulars so we can go ahead and get started with the show. The views and opinions expressed by individual radio hosts and guests are of their own and does not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of WPMM Radio. WPMM does not intend to malign with any religion, ethnic group, club, organization, company, individual, or anyone or anything. Once again, that's just the disclaimer to where if you try to sue WPMM, you can't sue them. You can only try to sue me, but you can't sue me for telling the truth. And if you do sue me and win, all you're getting is that 17 cents that I have in the jelly jar sitting on the side of my bed. And you can have that. Mr. J Dizzle, what's going on? He is on. That's the architect of WPMM Radio. He is on tonight. Appreciate you listening in, sir. Appreciate you listening in. If you see JD, I got the updated backdrop. So after the completed work, that's dang it, I forgot his name. The artist that put that up there. If you're looking at the backdrop, but he did a great job, wonderful job at the studios with making it look jazzy, if you will. So we got the new backdrop up tonight. So, but once again, it's the day after Christmas. The day after Christmas, I was having a little fun on Facebook last night. Where I posted, where I talked about that today is the day that people start lying about what they're going to do in 2023. I mean, and I said I meant resolutions. So, but it's funny, and I talk about this every year. You know, whether I'm on the radio or not, I talk about this every year that people set all these resolutions, and they say they're going to do this in the next year. Next year they're going to do this, they're going to do that, whatever the case may be. And it's just funny how those resolutions within the first 2 days of the year kind of go to the wayside. They're already broken. So I had got to the point. I think I was I might have been in my mid 30s when I realized that ain't no sense in making New Year's resolution. You plan your journey, if you will. Just because the year changes don't mean that your mindset is going to change, because anytime you set a resolution, if your mindset is not changing, is a moot point, if you will. So if you're going to set a resolution, it don't have to be at the end of the year. You can change at any point. You can do something different at any time, any day of your life. So I decided in my mid 30s that I would not set any resolutions anymore, and I haven't done that since. And that's just me. That's just me. And I laugh at the people that that's going to be on the 31st. And I'm gonna talk about you too. I'm laugh at the people on the 31st of December. Y'all knee deep in clothes that you hadn't washed, and you're trying to wash up all the clothes before the first. I don't know what the hell that means. I've been hearing about it since I was a kid, that you wash up all your clothes before the new year. But somebody explain to me what that means, or what the significance of that, because I never understood it. I always say, regardless of if it's changing years or not, still gonna have dirty clothes, still gotta wash. So I never understood that. But if somebody know the purpose behind that old wives' tale or whatever, that superstition or whatever, drop it in the comments so I can try to understand that. Because I refuse to spend the 31st washing clothes. Because look, if you ain't washed them all year, there ain't no sense trying to cram it in on the end of the year. So, but anyway, just having a little fun today. Just having a little fun. I hope everybody had a great Christmas. Hope everybody had a great Christmas day. Hope everybody remembered the reason for the season, and I hope that people didn't go all out and go broke trying to satisfy the wants of other people, even your own kids, because at Christmas time, sometimes your job good enough to give you a little Christmas bonus, give you a little extra cash, whatever the case may be, but for the average person, come Christmas time, you don't make any extra money on your check. You still get paid them 40 hours or whatever you're working, and it don't come extra. So A lot of people will go in debt, and they will spend their bill money trying to satisfy the wants of people that should understand that you can't always get what you want, but they still try to satisfy those people. Um, Born kids. Luckily, I had kids that were pretty aware of the situation and understood and didn't ask for much or whatever the case may be. So luckily, I was in that situation. But some people have kids that will ask for anything and everything, and then will pitch a fit if they don't get it. But I was one of them parents. I let you ask for something or whatever, but if it's feasible, we'll talk about it. But if it's not feasible, then we're not dealing with it. And I was never one to go out and buy $200 Jordans and $100 jeans and this, that, and the other, because that just wasn't me. That wasn't me. Not saying that my kids didn't wear Jordans, but they didn't wear the $200 Jordans. You know, they may have been a season or two behind, but they wore the Jordans and Nikes and whatnot. But I didn't go out and pay $200 for them. If you know me, I'm a bargain shopper. I will find the Jordans at the same price that you pay for a pair of shoes at a Walmart or a Target. That's just me. But I hope everybody enjoyed their Christmas. Hope everybody enjoyed family. My Christmas was pretty decent. This is the first year, and the first year that I really hadn't had any worries, if you will, as far as trying to buy gifts for the families and whatnot. Never been a person to buy gifts for people outside my household, because I always say that if you start buying for everybody, you got to buy for everybody. And I never started, because there's too many people in my family. There's too many brothers and sisters. There's too many nieces and nephews. There's too many aunts and uncles and everything. And if I tried to buy for everybody, I will be broke and homeless. So I just, I took care of people within my household, and that was the extent of it. And that's how I've been all my life. And this year, I cut my kids off at 18. Once you turn 18, Christmas is about being an adult. Christmas is about, the reason for the season was the birth of Jesus Christ, and we're gonna pay these bills. So at 18, you get cut off, and it's the first year that I haven't had a minor child to buy Christmas for. So my Christmas was kind of smooth. So, but if you're on Facebook, let's go ahead and share. Go ahead and share. We have a message for just a word for the youth here coming up. So if you have a teenage, young adult, teenager, early 20s or so, go ahead and get them on so they can listen to this, or get them on the replay. But that's the first topic that I want to tackle tonight. And the reason why I want to tackle that is because, our young people, there's things happening with our young people. Our people are dying early now. As the old people are continuing to live, they're living on. Our young people are dying. I seen a statistic a couple of days ago where the biggest increase of deaths is, and I may be off a little bit, and I apologize. I was trying to commit it to memory, but the age group that is dying more rapidly or increased the most was age 20. I think they said 26 to like 34. So it's like the old people are continuing to live on. The young people are dying. And the reason the young people are dying, they're dying at the hands of unnecessary violence. They're dying from overdose. They're dying from car accidents, things of that nature. And I'm talking to the youth right now. I really hope everybody can jump on WPMM Radio or the website here or the Facebook page. Our children and our young adults need that guidance. They need that person in their ear to make sure that they stay on them, to make sure that they're doing the right thing. And I'm not saying that it's going to solve everything. I'm not saying that's going to make everybody do the right thing, because I'm a realist as well. I know that some people don't take heed to good advice, and you can talk to them until you're blue in the face, and they'll never comply with whatever you're asking or whatever you're requesting for them to do. And I always say that you can't make grown people do anything. Once you turn 18 or whatever the case may be, you can always make suggestions. You can offer your advice, your opinions. You can um, uh, offer situations based on what you have experienced or whatever the case may be. But it's up to that individual to listen or not listen, and to take heed from your advice. So with our young people nowadays, it's like they're not listening to the people who are trying to look out for them. They're listening to the people who are encouraging them to do the wrong thing, if you will. They're listening to the people that's telling them to go out and commit that robbery, go out and rob this person and steal from that store, or go out and beat this person up or shoot this person. They're listening to the wrong people. The wrong people have the influence over them, and we don't have enough people that's positively making an impact in these young people's lives. And I encourage everyone, each one teach one. Just anytime you're in the presence of a young person, just say something positive, say something um, to put something in that young person's head, just to make them think about doing things that are positive or whatever the case may be. Again, no one person is going to save the world, and I'm not asking you to save the world, but if each one could teach one and stop telling these young kids to do things that's not right, because I know we have adults out there that are encouraging these young people to do stupid stuff. And the old people, the old people that really need to get a clue in life and understand that these young people that they're influencing to do negative are the ones that's going to be taking over, and the ones that's going to be caring for you when you get to the point where you can't care for yourself. And if you live the life of the streets, you know, that old saying, if you live by the sword, you die by the sword. And that is so, so, so true. So we need more positive influences, and especially with our adults, to help guide these young people in the right direction. We can't save everybody, but if we can get to one, that's an accomplishment. That's a step forward. Each one teach one. And over the weekend, a tragedy took place. Christmas, early Christmas morning, about 12:15 a.m. Christmas morning, Sunday morning, um, right out here off of Gulf Beach Highway, where there were total of 3 people that were killed in a car accident. There were 3 young men in one vehicle, and then there was a gentleman, and I haven't seen if it was his wife or whatever the case may be, but there was a male and a female in the other vehicle. And the car that had the 3 young gentlemen in there, I think the oldest one was 20 years old. I think the oldest one was 20. But apparently, according to the report, and I'll read it to you. Let me find it. Let me pull it up here, and I'll read it so I don't get anything out of context, if you will. But as they were traveling down Gulf Beach Highway, and I have to assume it was at a high rate of speed. Um, they veered off the side of the road and tried to overcorrect, and when they came back onto the road, they overcorrected and crossed the center line and ran into another vehicle head on collision it was. And this is the report, and but coming from the Pensacola News Journal, and I'll go ahead and read that to you so you can have the particulars, if you will, and then we'll talk about it on the other side. I said 3 people were killed and 2 others were critically injured in a 2-car collision on Gulf Beach Highway early Sunday morning, according to Florida Highway Patrol. Around 12:23 a.m., a silver Honda sedan was traveling west on Gulf Beach Highway, approaching Sunset Avenue. A green Ford SUV was approaching from the opposite direction. The driver of the sedan failed to maintain control of the vehicle and crossed into the oncoming lane, striking the SUV head on, according to Florida Highway Patrol. 2 men in the sedan, a 20-year-old driver and a 19-year-old passenger, suffered fatal injuries. In other words, they passed away from the collision. Another passenger, 19-year-old man, was critically injured. In the SUV, the SUV, this is the vehicle that they hit. 41-year-old man was killed. A 35-year-old woman was critically injured. All 5 people were Pensacola residents. And here's why this is so horrific, if you will, so disheartening, because it's tragic that these 2 young people, and this 41-year-old man lost his life in a situation that could have been avoided. My understanding, based on information that I received, there's may have been alcohol involved. And what our young people have to realize is that decisions that they make an impact not just on them but on people around them. If alcohol was involved in this situation, the people, all three individuals that was in the vehicle, particularly the driver, if you will, were not even of age to drink. So first problem, you have an underage individual that was potentially drinking, which led to driving under the influence, which led to the death of that person and 2 other people, and critically injuring 2 others that were quote unquote innocent in the whole situation. 2 of those individuals that was in the car with the car, the sedan, if you will. 2 of those individuals had just came home from basic training. They joined the military. They joined the military. They were home from basic training for the holidays before they went off to their actual schooling, if you will. And they were here, trying to enjoy the holiday season, and they lost their lives. Again, this was the driver and the front seat passenger. There was a passenger in the back seat of the sedan. That passenger in the back seat is currently in the hospital. Don't know his condition. I understand that he was taken to the hospital in critical condition. And I, to this day, right as of going on the air, I haven't heard anything in regards to an update on that young man's condition. So I don't know, but I do know that he arrived in critical condition. And then the 2 individuals in the SUV, 41-year-old man, 35-year-old woman. I think it was 41. I apologize 41-year-old man was killed, again, from the actions of someone else. Nothing that he did wrong. He was traveling like he was supposed to, and when that car crossed the center line and veered into them, there was nothing else he could do. Apparently, it happened quick enough to where he couldn't avoid that car. And here's why it's bothering me so much, because with the 3 individuals that was in the sedan, the driver, the passenger, and the backseat passenger as well, my son knew all 3 of them. And he recently was hanging out with these three individuals. The one that's in critical condition. Him and my son had been friends since middle school. They've been knowing each other since middle school. So he had just had interactions with all three individuals Friday night. Uh, and he told me there was a conversation that took place where he had warned, he had tried to tell the individual that was driving that he needed to chill out with that. He needed, if you're going to drink, you don't need to be driving or whatever the case may be. So they just had that conversation, and I get up Christmas morning, and my son informed me that three of his friends were involved in an accident, and two of them are dead. Um, so the big dog feeling some kind of way because he, like I say, he knew these individuals, and he tried to intervene just by giving the one individual just a word of wisdom, from his young 18-year-old mind, giving them words of wisdom just to chill out on the activity that they were involving themselves in, because it's not going to lead to anything good. And unfortunately, it took to the demise and the loss of this young man's life just for making bad decisions. And one of the things I tell my son, anytime he leave my presence, anytime I'm on the phone with him, or whatever the case may be, I always tell him, don't do anything stupid. Don't do anything stupid. And I think as a society, we need more people telling these young people to not do anything stupid. We need to become that village that we used to have. And I'm not talking old school where everybody, normally when you say old school, whatever, next thing out somebody's mouth and they need an ass whooping. We don't. I'm one of those people that don't believe that it takes an ass whooping to get someone to act right. I just refuse to believe that. Um, and I had two or three shows on that topic, so we're not going to go deep into that topic. But we just need people to direct and guide these people into doing the right thing, and stop influencing them to be negative. Our young people are influenced by so many different things, and they do all this crap, and then the older people say, look at this, and this person doing that, this person doing this, and they're learning it from the older people. So criticize yourselves. Don't criticize other people if you're not doing your part. Like I say, you can't just try to take care of people in your household. You have to reach out to others. Because again, that village that we used to have, everybody wasn't putting their hands on each other, but we had people that were looking out, people that would warn these young people not to do this, not to do that, because I'm gonna let your parents know. I'm gonna let your parents know. And then parents, we got to stop getting the attitude. We need to stop getting the attitude when somebody come to you and tell you that your child is acting like an idiot. When somebody come to you and tell your child is cutting up, your child is being disrespectful, your child is a bully, he's being violent against each other, he's not doing this, he's not. You got to stop jumping on the person that's coming to you telling you this, and address it with the root of the problem, which is the child. And the child see that regardless of what they do, you're going to take up for them, and you're gonna ridicule the person that come to you with the information about how your child is acting a damn fool. So people hesitate to say things to other people's kids, and I'll be honest with you, I am one of those people. I hesitate to say anything to somebody's kid because I know I'm gonna have to kick somebody ass, a parent ass, because they're gonna come at me and say, why you say this to my child? Why'd you do this? Why'd you say that? Because your child was acting like a damn fool, and I had to straighten them. And I hesitate sometimes to offer my 2 cents, if you will, because I don't need to be fighting and going to jail because I'm trying to straighten out your child. So, but what we need to understand, all that I said, all that to say this, we need to understand that our children are our future. We need to make sure that we are telling these children the right thing. We need to make sure as adults that we're not teaching these kids to do wrong. And we are teaching, these adults are the ones that's teaching these kids how to be criminals and teaching these kids how to be disrespectful, by allowing it, by being enablers, if you will. And they learn from you. They learn from the adults. It may not be the parents, but it may be somebody, another adult that they learning from. One thing I can say about my boys, they have never learned anything wrong from me. They can't say not one time that I have advocated or supported or looked past any wrongdoing that they may have done. They can't say that about me because I'm gonna be on you if you're not doing the right thing. I'm gonna praise you when you're doing right, and I'm gonna be on your ass when you're not doing things the right way. So we got to look out for our children. We got to look out for our children. That was a tragic accident, a horrific incident where 3 people lost their lives, 2 people in critical condition. We're praying for those that are in the hospital. We're praying for the families of the deceased. It's not what you want to do on Christmas morning to find out that your loved one died tragically and died senselessly over something that could have been prevented, if you will. And I was talking to my son about the situation. I said, even if this young man, the young man that was driving, if he had lived and he had been found to where he was guilty of driving under the influence of anything, that he was going to be charged with murder. Anybody that died in the accident when you driving under the influence, anybody that dies, you're charged with their murder. It's vehicle homicide, reckless endangerment. Now, all kind of charges they can throw at you. So we have to do right by our kids. We have to do right by our kids. We have to encourage our kids to do the right thing. We have to set consequences for our kids who are not doing the right thing. And I'm not saying beat your kids because I'm not an advocate of that. But we got to get them on the right path. I'm trying to keep my son's spirits up as we speak. He is bothered because again, all three of those individuals in that car, he knew and was just hanging with them, just around them this past Friday, and now here it is. It's Sunday morning, and they're gone. So, Miss Saber has joined us on Facebook. Thank you for joining us, Miss Saber. How's everything? Hope all is well with you. Good to see you on here tonight. Again, if you're on Facebook, go ahead and share. We have a couple topics tonight that we're tackling. Just finished up with a message for our youth. Just some words of wisdom, some words of encouragement to get our youth going in the right direction. Again, I'm not a miracle worker. I can only just put it out there and hope someone take heed. And that's all I can do. That's all I can do. Each one teach one. But let's move on. Let's talk about police brutality. I was going to do this show actually last Monday, if you will. But whatever happened, I forget what happened last Monday. Then Thursday I didn't do a show. I was supposed to try to cover it on Monday's show, but it got lost in the topics, and we didn't talk about it. Miss Saber said we're blessed, and how are you and the family? Everybody's good, Miss Saber. Everybody's good. We're doing what we do and trying to just live life to the fullest and take advantage of every day that we are here, because tomorrow is not promised to anyone. So we got to live today like it's our last, and that's what we're trying to do on this side of town. But thank you for asking. I hope all is well with you as well. Mr. Savory, give him my blessings as well. So let's talk about police brutality. And again, I was supposed to do this show on Monday, and I failed to do it. I was supposed to tackle a topic, and I failed to do it. Police brutality. And the reason I harp on this because every day every day as I go through my Facebook feed or I go through my whatever they call those things, reels or whatever the case may be, I see multiple videos every single day about police brutality, profiling, uh, road cops that are making up their own rules, road cops that are lying in regards to trying to fish for anything to lock a person up, particularly black people or anyone who does not look like they should. You know, if you look like you should be committing crimes, they're going to be fishing and they're going to try to find something on you. And I see video after video after video after video every single day on this. And also with the shootings and whatnot, they were still having the shooting going on. And I was looking at some information, and I was looking at information from um, it was mappingpoliceviolence.com, I believe it is. It's the website where they actually keep up with the stats in regards to police brutality and police activity. And the numbers just kind of blew my mind. It absolutely blew my mind what I was reading and what I was hearing in regards to the numbers in regard to our police across the nation, if you will. Um, but this particular organization has been tracking police situations for a little while now, and they are actually putting out statistics on um, the activity of our police across the nation. And what is being found in this year in 2022, um, police are more active in police brutality or violence, if you will, than prior to the George Floyd situation. You would think that with the situation with George Floyd, that the police would calm down, knowing that the killers of George Floyd went to prison, they were convicted. You would think they would calm down. The young lady the cop that went into an apartment and went into the wrong apartment and shot someone. She was convicted. There's been several unprecedented convictions in regards to cops shooting people. Yes, we still got a lot of cops getting off, but we have had a handful of convictions, and you would have thunk, if you will, that would have slowed things down in regards to the activity of our police. But it's getting worse. It is getting worse. It's not getting better. And just a little information in regards to what I've seen on mappingpoliceviolence.com. One, we don't have police reform in place. The legislation has still not passed the George Floyd bill. Is it still sitting stagnant in the Senate? I believe it is. And it looks like it's going to sit there unless we get rid of the filibuster. And right now it's too late. It's too late because the House is going to go over to the Republicans. The Democrats will maintain control of the Senate. Instead of a 50-50 split, we thought we had a 2-seat advantage, but one of the Democrats, Christian Sinema, she is now independent. So there's only a 1-seat advantage in the Senate, and it's going to make it more difficult. When you vote in the Senate, you have to have a simple majority, meaning that you have to have 60 votes. You have to have 60 votes. You can't do it with 50, again, unless you get rid of the filibuster. So with that being said, the George Floyd bill is probably going to sit there. It's probably going to sit there and it's not going to be passed. And information in the George Floyd bill, it tackles stuff like chokeholds. It tackles stuff like no-knock warrants, things of that nature. Putting federal mandates or not mandates, but restrictions on certain things like those chokeholds, the no-knock warrants, what a police officer can and can't do whenever it comes to initiating any type of violence. So that's going to sit there. But here's the staggering number. In 2022, this year, 2022, and this is up. This is information that was pulled up by December 10th. So we're talking what, 16 days ago, 17 days. I went to public school. I can't do math in my head that quick. So this was as of December 10th in the year 2022. There were 1,098 people killed by police officers in the United States this year alone. 1,098 people killed by a police officer. And that's not that's a total number. That's not broken down into if they was armed or unarmed or whatever the case may be. But 1,098 people are killed in 2022 up until December 10th. So based on that, the numbers by the time we get to the end of the year, which there was another 21 days remaining since this came out, you're looking at 3 a day. That based on that average, 3 a day that's going to be killed in the next 21 days. So you're looking at 20, 60 some odd more people that will be added to this list with the current trend that we have now in police killings. Again, that's total. That's not just armed, unarmed. This is total people killed. Killings in the rural areas are high. Again, that's 3 killings a day with that particular average, with 1,000, almost 1,100 people killed. 3 people die a day at the hands of police across the nation. I know some, and well, that's not enough, but hell, police shouldn't be killing people at that high of a rate. And I'm gonna explain to you why here in a moment. That rate should not be that high. One third of the people that are killed by police, so 1 out of every 3, those people are actually fleeing. They're running away from the police, whether they're on foot or whether they're driving. 1/3 of those people killed are fleeing, are running away, which means that they pose no threat whatsoever to that police officer. 1/3 are running away. Also, with these police calls that they're responding to, only 1/3 of those calls are calls related to violent crimes. So people are dying at an alarming rate when the police are not called for a violent situation. And let's look at why that may be. You know, we have all these responses to nonviolent calls where people are being shot. Well, but before I move on to that, let me give you another number that's probably going to blow your mind as well. There were 55,000 people each year that are hospitalized because of the violence or the use of force by police officers. 55,000 that are hospitalized. And when I say hospitalized, that means that they were injured in some sort of way, but they didn't die. 55,000 are hospitalized based on violence inflicted by police officers. There's over the past 10, 15 years, there's been an average of between 6 and 10 million arrests in the United States each year. Between 6 and 10 million. That's a lot of arrests each year across the nation. Only between 5 and 6% of those arrests are arrests as a result of violent crimes. So, in other words, we have millions of people that are being arrested for nonviolent crimes, and these people that are being arrested for nonviolent crimes are ending up dead or in hospitals. 55,000 people hospitalized from the use of force by police officers each year. So I mean, but between one and two, um, for every one person that's killed, there's two that are shot or injured as a result of violence by the police. And here's why we have that problem. Here's one of the reasons why we have that problem. Obviously, we're in police training, and I've never been a police officer, never been through the training, but I can give you information on what takes place in the training. Based on police training, in a training where you are training to become a police officer, there are 58 hours. There's 58 hours of training that teaches you how to kill people, that teaches you how to shoot to kill, because the police officers are not shooting at you to hurt you. The police officers are trained to shoot to kill. So they spend 58 hours within their training and going over how to kill you. However, they only spend 8 hours of their training to become a police officer. Only 8 hours is dedicated to de-escalation of situations. 8 hours of training in de-escalation. 58 hours training how to kill you. 8 hours on de-escalation. And then they spend another 8 hours on dealing with mental issues, cases where people are suffering from some type of mental crisis. 8 hours. So I'm gonna say that again. 58 hours they train to kill you. 8 hours they train to de-escalate the situation. 8 hours they train in mental health issue cases. So their training is centered around killing you. Their training is centered around saying that if you, as a police officer, if you have any indication that you may be harmed or that you fear for your life, you are able to kill this person if you think that you're being put in danger. And we know how the breakdown goes for that. We see it every day. We see how white people can attack police officers, fight police officers, grab at police officers' guns, shoot at police officers. They can do all these things and they will live to go to court. Black people, we die because of a taillight out. So with our police, and I've said that the police are more afraid of a black person who they think have a gun than they are of a white person who they know have a gun. Just about every time you hear of a situation where a gun is involved in regards to a shooting or whatever, mass shooting, that person, if they're white, they're arrested without incident. 9 times out of 10, arrested without incident. But if they're black and the police officer think that they have a gun, i.e. the situation where the young man was shot and killed because he had a Subway sandwich in his hand by the police, i.e. how there was a young man killed because he had his cell phone. There was several killed because they had a cell phone in their hand. I.e. Tamir Rice, who was killed because he was playing in the park with a toy gun, 12-year-old kid. I.e. Eric Gardner, who was And I might be saying his name wrong. I apologize, but who was choked out because he was selling. So apparently, called police because he passed a $20 bill. People who were selling loose cigarettes outside of a store killed. But we have white people that commit mass shootings. They have Rittenhouse killed people and walked with this gun right past the police. The police gave him water and all kind of crap, and he walked on home after he killed people in the streets. He was charged and walked, but it took a minute to charge him. But he walked right past the police. The police offered him water, make sure he was hydrated so he can kill people. But black people don't get that advantage. So with these police shootings, and I want to have a panel to talk about these statistics, and I would love to have a officer on to talk about this situation as well. Because once again, I see I stay uptight and I stay irritated because it seemed like I can go my feed right now and I'm going to find within an hour I find 10, 15 videos of police corruption. I was watching one today to stop the young man. He was driving a Charger, had face tattoos or whatever. Pulled him over. And the reason why they claim they pulled him over is because he had one of those thin, your license plate, when you put the little thin frame around your license plate, just the frame, not anything that's obstructing, but he had the little license plate frame around him. And the cop made a U-turn to get behind this individual. So he couldn't have seen the license plate from going the opposite direction. He seen the car, seen the individual, made a U-turn, got behind the individual, pulled him over, and then pulled him over and said, you have reason I stopped you is because your license plate is obstructed. But you done made a whole U-turn and got behind this person. And then you went from that to, where are you going? Is this your car? That's none of your business. If he gave you his license and registration, that's all he need to give you. You don't have to answer any question. And while I'm saying that, if you get pulled over by the police, keep your mouth shut. This is just a word of wisdom here. If you get pulled over by the police, keep your mouth shut. You don't have to answer any questions. Because they're going to, especially with black people, they're going to ask you where you going, where you coming from, what you doing, is this your car, whatever. Just let them know I don't answer questions. If they need your license, your registration, you give them your license, your registration, your insurance, give them that to them. And if they're going to write you a citation, tell them to write the citation. But you don't have to sit and have small talk with these officers. You don't have to tell them where you're going or what you're doing or whatever. You don't have to give them consent to do anything. They ask you, can I search your car? No, you cannot. You do not have my consent to search anything. You have rights. You have rights, and you should exercise your rights, and not let these road cops violate your rights, because there's too many road cops out there that will violate your rights and will lie to you. And I'm not saying this because it's my opinion. I'm saying this because I'm seeing it every single day, and I get irritated on these videos of these actual traffic stops and whatever, where these cops are violating people's rights, and they're doing it claiming that they have the right to do it. They're making up their own laws and they're getting away with it. But at some point, police officers have to be held accountable. They have to be held accountable. If they're not doing right, they have to be held accountable. There are some great police officers out there. There's some wonderful police officers out there, police officers that actually care about the citizens that they're sworn in to serve and protect. But we got a lot of assholes out there too. We got more assholes than we do good guys in the police department, and that's the problem. And until accountability is had, it's gonna continue. Like I said, since George Floyd, the numbers has went up. They're not coming down. They have went up. And like I said, I would love to put a panel together to talk about this issue and get other people's perspectives. And that may be one thing that's coming up soon here on the Truth with G on WPMM. You know, we're trying to plan some big things coming up here in the new year. And I know, you know, I was talking about resolutions earlier, but you know, we're growing. We're, as far as WPMM, we're growing. We're getting better. We're doing things better. Um, we got better things coming up in the new year. We're coming out all guns blazing, and we will. You know, we're trying to get out in the community more. We're doing community events, things of that nature. Um, you know, WPMM, we're up and coming. We're up and coming. So be on the lookout for us. And but the main thing with my show, if you listen to the Truth with G, I'm gonna put it out there like it is. Straight, like Mr. Mike Riley say, you know, straight, no chaser. I'm gonna put it out there, and then if you don't like the truth, like the introduction said, if you can't handle the truth, this ain't the show for you. So, but yeah, we got some things coming up here. We got some things coming up here in the next year. So stay tuned. Make sure that you continue to tune in to the show on the Truth with G right here on WPMM Internet Radio, where I air on Mondays and Thursdays at 6 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time. We talk about the issues. We'll be going into the studio on Thursday. We'll be in studio. So we'll be taking calls on Thursday in studio number 1. We're in studio number 2 right now, but we will be taking your calls come Thursday. So make sure you guys tune in. We'll have more topics to talk about. Again, we want to get a panel in on this police brutality because it is completely out of hand. And you know, we're going to try to make every day going forward better than yesterday. Better than yesterday. Once again, thank you so very much for tuning in. It is time for me to get up out of here. I will be back on Thursday at 6 o'clock, so make sure that you do tune in. Meanwhile, check out the WPMM Radio. WPMMradio.com is the website. YouTube channel. Go to WPMM YouTube channel. All streaming platforms we're on. When there's not a show going on, we have some great music where we play more music. So check out the music. I'll tell you this: the music is songs that you like. Oh, I haven't heard that in so long. Or why don't they play this song more? You know, you're not going to hear the same 10 songs over and over again on WPMM Internet Radio. You're going to give you a variety, and you're going to enjoy it. You can put that on and just let it play throughout your day, and I promise you, you're going to be singing along to songs that you haven't heard on mainstream radio in quite some time. So, but anyway, time for me to get out of here. Appreciate you once again. See you on Monday night. You guys be safe. Y'all be blessed. And I am out of here.